The rain had stopped, but the city still glittered under the streetlights. Benin was awake, alive, restless as always. Somewhere between the soft hum of cars and laughter from rooftop lounges, a young woman stood before a mirror, staring at a reflection she barely recognized. Her name was Ivie Osayande, 26, focused, and exhausted from chasing dreams that always seemed to move a step further each time she reached out. She had spent the whole week sewing dresses for clients who wanted rich auntie styles but paid like students. Her fingers ached, her eyes burned, and her rent was due in 3 days. Her boutique at Ogbowo Plaza was her pride, but it drained her one fabric at a time. So when Kemi, her best friend and the most dramatic woman she knew, burst into the shop shouting her name like it was an emergency, Ivie didn't even look up from her sewing machine. "You're coming with me tonight," Kemi announced, waving 2 golden cards that shimmered under the fluorescent light. "Kemi, please," Ivie sighed. "I have to finish this gown before tomorrow morning." "No excuses," Kemi interrupted. "This is the Oasis Hotel Cocktail Gala, babe. Hosted by Vortex Group. Big men, tech bros, investors. If I don't drag you out of this shop tonight, your husband will find you here still sewing wrappers at 70. Ivie rolled her eyes, but a smile tugged at her lips. That was Kemi, chaos wrapped in perfume and trouble. 2 hours later, Ivie found herself in Kemi's apartment, standing before a mirror in a black satin dress that hugged her figure perfectly. Her smooth brown skin glowed under the warm light. Her hair was pulled into a low bun, gold earrings brushing against her neck. For a moment, she almost didn't recognize herself. "You look expensive," Kemi said with satisfaction. "Like soft life and heartbreak." Ivie laughed. "I still feel like a tailor pretending to be a model." Kemi rolled her eyes. "Tonight, you're a queen. Act like one." When they arrived at Oasis Hotel, the air smelled like money and rain. The rooftop bar was bathed in golden light, filled with people who looked like they'd never worried about bills. Champagne glasses clinked, laughter floated above the sound of soft jazz, and the view of Benin glittered below like a living painting. Ivie tried to blend in, but she felt like an outsider, clutching her glass of juice while Kemi mingled easily with strangers. She glanced around, pretending to be comfortable. Then she saw him. He stood by the balcony, tall, calm, and quiet. His white shirt was rolled up to the sleeves, tucked neatly into dark navy trousers. No watch, no chain, no flashy aura, just a quiet confidence that pulled attention without asking for it. When their eyes met, something inside her shifted. He smiled. Not the wide, flirtatious kind, just a small, knowing smile that made her heartbeat quicken. A few minutes later, she felt someone stand beside her at the bar. "You look like you'd rather be anywhere but here," a deep, smooth voice said. She didn't look up. "Maybe," she replied. "I don't exactly fit in." He chuckled softly. "Good. Neither do I." She turned then. He wasn't the usual flashy type she saw at events. His eyes were steady, observant, almost too calm, the kind that made you curious against your better judgment. They started talking. About the city, work, how exhausting people could be, how everyone in that room smiled too much but meant too little. She told him about her boutique, how hard it was keeping it alive. He said he worked in tech, nothing more. They laughed easily, strangers who somehow felt familiar. When the music softened, he asked, "Would you like to step outside? Get some air?" She hesitated, then nodded. The balcony was quiet except for the distant hum of traffic and the gentle rhythm of the wind. From up there, the city stretched beneath them, glowing, alive, indifferent. For a long moment, neither of them spoke. Then his hand brushed hers. She didn't pull away. By the time she realized where the night was heading, it was already too late to stop it. The next morning, She woke in a hotel suite with the early light spilling across the bed. He was still asleep beside her, calm and composed even in rest. For a second, she just looked at him, at the peace on his face, the warmth in his breathing. Then reality struck. She quietly slipped out of bed, gathered her things, and left before her heart could ask questions her pride couldn't answer. It was just one night, she whispered to herself as she rode home in a taxi, watching the sky grow brighter. It meant nothing. But fate was listening. 2 weeks later, her life took a turn. Her boutique suddenly got attention. One of her dresses had been worn by a local influencer, and others started pouring in. For the first time in months, she smiled without pretending. Then came an email that made her heart race. Vortex Investment Group invites you to present your fashion brand for funding consideration. She screamed. Kemi screamed louder. That night, she stayed up rehearsing her pitch, practicing her confidence in front of the mirror, over and over again. She imagined herself speaking clearly, showing her designs, finally being seen. When the day came, she dressed simply, white blouse, black skirt, a touch of red lipstick. She arrived early, clutching her portfolio, her palms damp with sweat. The building was all glass and steel, modern and intimidating. The receptionist smiled politely. Mr. Osazuwa will see you shortly. That name. It echoed in her mind. She froze. Before she could process it, the door opened. And there he was. The man from Oasis Hotel, now in a navy blue suit that fit him perfectly, confidence radiating from every step. Ivy, he said softly, the corner of his mouth lifting. What a surprise. Her throat went dry. Mr. Osazuwa, she managed, forcing her voice steady. The meeting continued like a dream she couldn't wake from. She presented her designs, her voice shaking slightly at first but growing stronger as she spoke. Her sketches impressed the board. Her passion caught their attention. But every time her eyes met his, flashes of that night came rushing back, the laughter, the balcony, the warmth of his touch. When the meeting ended, the others left. Only the two of them remained. I didn't expect to see you again, he said, breaking the silence. Neither did I. You've done well, he said, leaning back in his chair. You have something special. Her pulse quickened. Thank you. There was a pause, a thick, awkward, and full of everything they weren't saying. I might be pregnant, she said quietly. The word slipped out like a whisper she couldn't take back. He turned, startled. The air between them changed. What? I said. I think I might be pregnant, she repeated, her voice trembling. He stood, walked to the window, and stared out for a moment before speaking. If it's mine, I'll take care of you. But we have to be careful. I have rivals, people who twist this before you could even defend yourself. Gossip would destroy your brand overnight. Her chest rose and fell. What are you suggesting? I'm saying we protect each other, he said finally. Pretend to be my girlfriend. For 3 months. Publicly. I'll handle the media, the rumors, the money. You'll keep your dignity, and your dreams. She stared at him, stunned. You want me to fake date you? He nodded once. It's business. For both of us. It sounded ridiculous. Cold. Calculated. But deep down, she knew he was right, the world was cruel, and scandals could end everything. After a long silence, she whispered, 3 months. That's all. He smiled faintly. Deal. From that day, everything changed. Luxury cars began picking her up from her shop. Her pictures flooded social media, tech billionaire's new flame. The internet worshipped her one day and tore her apart the next. But her business grew, money flowed, and her name became known. Still, something about Osazuwa didn't feel right. Sometimes he was gentle, thoughtful. Other times, distant, like a man haunted by ghosts no one else could see. The line between fake and real blurred quickly. Their arguments were fire and ice. Their laughter, real. Their chemistry undeniable. Then one morning, her phone buzzed. The headline froze her blood. Tech billionaire's fake girlfriend exposed, Lagos fiancé speaks out. She clicked the link. Photos flooded the page, Osayande with another woman, smiling, traveling, holding hands. Her body went cold. Her chest ached. It felt like watching her own story burn in slow motion. The phone slipped from her hand as tears filled her eyes. And when she finally spoke, her voice broke into a whisper. He used me. But even as the tears fell, a quiet voice inside her whispered something else. The sun rose over Benin, but Ivie couldn't feel its warmth. Her eyes were swollen from crying, her head pounding from a sleepless night. The story had gone everywhere. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, her name was now gossip currency. Strangers argued over her life as if it were entertainment. Some called her a gold digger. Some said she was a victim. Most didn't care, they just wanted something to talk about. Her phone wouldn't stop ringing. Kemi's calls, her mother's calls, even journalists pretending to be clients. She threw the phone on the couch and pressed her palms against her eyes. "What did I do to deserve this?" she whispered. The knock on her door startled her. She froze. Another knock, firm, urgent. When she opened it, Osayande stood there. He looked exhausted, his shirt untucked, eyes bloodshot, like a man who hadn't slept either. "Ivie, please," he said quietly. "Let me explain." She didn't move aside. "Explain what?" "That you've been engaged all this time. That you turned me into a public joke." "It's not what it looks like," he said, his voice strained. "That's what every liar says." He ran a hand through his hair, frustrated. "I didn't plan this. That woman, Amora, she's not my fiancée anymore. She's the past, but she won't let go. She works with my enemies. This was all part of a setup." Ivie folded her arms. "So now I'm supposed to believe this is some business war?" "Yes," he said, his tone sharp but pleading. "You're being used as bait, Ivie. They know you're the only one who can shake me. That's why they dragged you into this." She stared at him. His words sounded desperate, yet there was something about his eyes, guilt or truth, she couldn't tell. "You lied to me, Osayande," she said softly. "That's the part you keep forgetting. You could have told me about her. About any of this." "I didn't because I wanted to protect you," he said. "The less you knew, the safer you were." She laughed bitterly. "Safe? Look at me. My business is collapsing, my name is ruined, and I can't even walk outside without someone pointing at me." He stepped closer. "I'll fix this. I promise." "Leave," she whispered, her voice trembling. He didn't move. "Ivie. Please," she said again, louder this time. "Just go." He stared at her for a long moment, then turned and walked away, his footsteps heavy on the stairs. When the door closed, Ivie collapsed against it and cried until she couldn't breathe. The following days were a blur of whispers and stares. Her boutique emptied. Clients stopped coming. Even her landlord started making comments about bad publicity. She wanted to scream, to hide, to run. But running had never solved anything. On the fourth morning, Kemi showed up unannounced, wearing dark glasses and holding a cup of coffee like she owned the world. "Babe," she said softly, sitting beside Ivie. "You've been in the same clothes for 3 days. This is not you." Ivie gave a weak laugh. "I don't even know who I am anymore." "Then find out again," Kemi said. "People are waiting for you to fall. Don't give them the pleasure." Ivie stared at her friend. Kemi's voice was firm, her tone protective, the same energy she'd had since university. Start something new, Kemi continued. A new line, a new collection, a new version of you. You're not finished yet. The words stuck in Ivie's heart. That night, she picked up her sketchpad for the first time in weeks. Her tears dripped onto the paper as she drew sharp lines, bold designs, fierce colors. She called the collection Phoenix. Days turned into weeks, and slowly, the fire returned to her hands. She began sewing again, posting small previews online. To her surprise, people noticed. Still standing. Benin Queen rising again. Real woman energy. The comments poured in, and with them, a small light, fragile but real. Then one evening, as she was locking up the boutique, a familiar car parked nearby. A sleek black Mercedes. Osayande stepped out. She froze. He looked better, but serious. You've been avoiding my calls. You should take the hint, she said quietly. I can't. I owe you the truth. She didn't answer. He sighed and continued, the woman in those pictures, Amora, she used to work for a man named Bamedia. My former business partner. We built Vortex together, but he tried to sell our data to foreign buyers. When I found out, I exposed him. He lost everything. He's been trying to destroy me ever since. And I'm his new weapon, she said flatly. He nodded slowly. Yes. Ivie looked away, pain and confusion swirling inside her. Then what happens now? I'm handling it, he said. But I need you to stay out of sight for a while. Go somewhere quiet. I'll send people to protect you. She frowned. So now I'm supposed to hide while you fix your mess? I'm trying to protect you, Ivie, he said, stepping closer. Her voice broke. You keep saying that, but you're the one who keeps hurting me. He went silent. The wind moved softly between them. I never meant to, he said finally. But you came into my life when I'd forgotten what peace felt like. And I don't want to lose that. She didn't know what to say. Part of her wanted to believe him. Another part wanted to hate him. After a long pause, she whispered, I'm not your project to fix, Osayande. If you want to make things right, start by telling the world the truth. Then she turned, walked into her shop, and shut the door. He stood there for a moment, watching through the glass, his reflection overlapping hers. Then he left. That night, Ivie couldn't sleep. The city outside buzzed softly, but her heart felt louder than the world. She scrolled through social media, watching how her followers had started turning the scandal into inspiration, women posting things like, we are all Ivie. Maybe, she thought, this was her chance to rise differently. But just as she began to drift off, her phone buzzed again. A new message. Unknown number, he's not telling you everything. Meet me tomorrow. 8 p.m., Benin Royal Cafe. Her stomach twisted. She almost deleted it. But then another message came in seconds later. If you want to know what really happened in Lagos, come alone. She sat upright, wide awake now. Her fingers trembled as she typed a reply. Who are you? No response. Ivie stared at the screen for a long time before putting the phone down. Her mind raced all night, questions, fears, possibilities. And when morning came, one thing was clear. She was done being protected. She wanted the truth, all of it. The next day crawled by like a long shadow. Ivie couldn't focus on work. She kept replaying that message in her mind, if you want to know what really happened in Lagos, come alone. By 7:30 p.m., the city was glowing again, streetlights flickering to life, kiki horns echoing through the streets, the air thick with roasted plantain smoke and gossip. She wore a simple cream blouse, blue jeans, and a headscarf that covered half her face. She told Kemi she was running an errand and left before she could change her mind. The Benin Royal Café sat on a quiet corner off Sopil Road, elegant, discreet, a place where politicians and businessmen whispered secrets over cappuccinos. Inside, the smell of coffee and perfume mixed with soft jazz. Ivie scanned the room nervously until she saw him, a man sitting near the window, tall, dark-skinned, wearing a brown jacket. He looked up, smiled faintly, and motioned her over. She hesitated before walking to his table. "You're the one who texted me." He nodded. "Yes. I'm Bamadiel." Her stomach dropped. She had heard that name before. The man Osazua called his enemy. She almost turned to leave, but his calm voice stopped her. "I'm not here to hurt you, Ivie. If I wanted to, I wouldn't have invited you somewhere public." She sat slowly, keeping her bag close. "What do you want?" He leaned forward, eyes steady. "To tell you who Osazua really is." She frowned. "I already know enough." "No," he said quietly. "You know what he wants you to know. You think I ruined him, don't you? That I leaked your story." Ivie said nothing. Bamadiel exhaled and pulled out a small flash drive, placing it on the table between them. "Everything you've seen about him, his clean image, his fake generosity, his investor persona, it's built on lies. He didn't create Vortex. We did. Together. Until he betrayed me." Ivie's pulse quickened. "You're saying he stole your company?" "I'm saying he stole everything," Bamadiel replied, his voice shaking with anger barely contained. "The code, the investors, even the patent. Then he framed me for fraud. I lost my license, my family, my name. And now, he's using you to polish his reputation again." She stared at him, unsure what to believe. "Why tell me all this?" "Because you matter to him," he said simply. "And that makes you vulnerable. He doesn't keep people close unless they serve a purpose. When that purpose ends, he replaces them." Her heart clenched. "You're lying." He smiled faintly. "Then prove it. Open that drive. You'll see everything, contracts, messages, and the name of the woman in those leaked photos." Ivie blinked. "Amora." He shook his head slowly. "No. Someone else." Before she could ask, he stood. "Be careful, Ivie. Men like him build empires out of people's pain. Don't be his next casualty." Then he walked out, leaving the flash drive on the table. Ivie sat frozen, staring at it as if it might explode. Her hands trembled as she slipped it into her bag. She didn't touch her drink. She just left. That night, in her small apartment, she plugged the flash drive into her laptop. Folders filled the screen, documents, pictures, voice recordings. She clicked one at random. Osazuwa's voice filled the room. "Make sure Bamadiel signs the transfer papers. I don't care what you have to promise him. Just get his signature. After that, he's no longer a problem." Her blood ran cold. Another file, text messages. "Amora, you said you'd clear his name if I helped with the photos. Osazuwa, don't text me again. You got your money." Ivie's heart pounded. Her vision blurred. She clicked on the last file, a photo of Osazuwa with the same woman from the scandal, only this time, the date on the image showed it was taken months before she ever met him. Her hands flew to her mouth. Everything she thought she knew was crumbling. She tried calling him, but he didn't answer. She called again, and again, until finally, he picked up. "Ivie," his voice came through, calm but cautious. "What have you done?" she demanded, her voice shaking. "You lied to me. About everything." There was a pause. "Where are you?" he asked. "Don't you dare change the subject. You used me, Osazuwa. Just like you used everyone else. Listen to me," he said firmly. "If you're at your apartment, leave now. You're in danger." Her chest tightened. What are you talking about? I can't explain right now. Just get out. The call cut off. Seconds later, the lights in her apartment flickered, once, twice, then went out. Ivie froze. The city outside still glowed, but her building was suddenly silent. Her heart thudded in her ears. She grabbed her phone flashlight and moved toward the door. Then she heard footsteps in the hallway. Slow. Heavy. Getting closer. She turned off the light and pressed herself against the wall, breathing hard. A shadow passed under her door, 2, maybe 3 people. Someone tried the handle. Her heart nearly stopped. Open the door, Ivie, a voice said, male, unfamiliar. We just want to talk. She backed away, reaching for her phone, trying to dial Kemi. The knocking grew louder. Then a crash, the door burst open. Ivie screamed and darted through the back exit, down the stairs, barefoot, clutching her bag. The streets blurred as she ran into the night, her heart hammering. She didn't stop until she reached a quiet road lined with palm trees and dim streetlights. Her hands were shaking so badly she almost dropped her phone. She tried calling Osazuwa again. No answer. Finally, she dialed Kemi. Kemi, she gasped, someone just broke into my apartment. I don't know who. Wait, what? Where are you? By Econ 1 Road. Near the bridge. I'm coming. But before Kemi could hang up, another voice spoke behind Ivie. I told you to stay out of it. She turned, and standing there in the half-light was a man she didn't recognize, wearing a black jacket, his face half hidden. Before she could move, he snatched her bag and pushed her hard against the wall. The flash drive fell to the ground, sliding across the wet pavement. Give that back, she cried, trying to grab it. The man picked it up, smirked, and whispered, you should have listened to him. Then he turned and disappeared into the night. Ivie dropped to her knees, shaking, tears mixing with the rain beginning to fall. Her phone was still on the ground, Kemi's voice shouting from the other end. Ivie! Ivie, are you there? But she couldn't answer. She just stared at the empty road, knowing that whatever this was, she was now too deep to walk away. The night rain came hard, washing through Benin City like it wanted to erase all sins. Ivie sat inside Kemi's car, wrapped in a blanket, her head down, her hands trembling. Kemi kept glancing at her while driving, trying to hide her panic. Who were they? Kemi asked finally. I don't know, Ivie said weakly. They wanted the flash drive. What flash drive? Ivie explained everything, the cafe, Bamadil, the files, the voice recordings, the messages. Kemi listened in stunned silence, gripping the steering wheel. So you're saying that man you've been falling for, is a liar? Ivie closed her eyes, the pain washing over her again. I don't know who he is anymore. They spent the night at Kemi's cousin's place in Sapil Road, hidden away from the chaos. By morning, Ivie had decided she couldn't run anymore. She needed to face him. That afternoon, she called Osazuwa. He picked up on the second ring. Where are you? He asked immediately. Somewhere safe, she said. We need to talk. Silence. Then, meet me. But not at the office. I'll send you a location. It was a quiet restaurant by the city outskirts. When she arrived, he was already there, seated by the window, eyes weary, hands clasped tightly as if holding himself together. She sat opposite him, heart pounding. Why didn't you tell me the truth? I wanted to, he said softly. But once you know what I've done, you'll never look at me the same. I already don't, she whispered. He sighed, leaning back. Everything Bamadil told you, it's true. I took the company from him. But it wasn't greed. It was survival. She frowned. Survival. He looked at her, his voice cracking slightly. Years ago, Bamadil was laundering investor money through Vortex. I found out and confronted him. He threatened me. Said he'd ruin me, expose me. So I did it first. I leaked documents, destroyed his reputation, took over the company before he could take me down. It wasn't clean. But it was either him or me. Ivie stared at him in disbelief. You built your empire on betrayal. His eyes glistened with guilt. You think I don't know that? I live with it every day. But when I met you, Ivie, you made me feel like I could breathe again. Like maybe I wasn't just the monster they said I was. Her voice was soft but firm. You used me. Just like you used him. No, he said quickly. I protected you. If you hadn't been with me, those people would have destroyed your business. I've done terrible things, yes, but I never meant to hurt you. She shook her head. You already did. He leaned forward, desperate. Let me make it right. Ivie stood slowly, her chair scraping against the floor. You can't buy redemption, Osazuwa. You have to earn it. He watched her walk out, his reflection disappearing from the glass window. Outside, the city buzzed with traffic. She took a long breath of the humid air, feeling both free and hollow. That night, she returned to her boutique, the same space where everything began. The door creaked as she stepped in, the familiar smell of fabric and machine oil filling her senses. Her dresses hung untouched, silent witnesses to all her pain and growth. She walked to her sewing table, sat down, and for the first time in weeks, began to sew. Each stitch felt like a heartbeat, slow, steady, defiant. Kemi arrived later with food and stayed quietly beside her, saying nothing. They didn't need words. Days turned to weeks. The internet found a new scandal. Life moved. Ivie released her Phoenix collection officially. It sold out within days. Influencers wore her designs, newspapers called her the comeback queen. She became the symbol of strength, the woman who rose from humiliation and heartbreak to build an empire of her own. Then one morning, as she was preparing for a radio interview, he handed her a delivery man arrived at her boutique. From Mr. Osazuwa. Miss Ivie Osayande. Her heart skipped. She opened it carefully. Inside was a single note and a document, a deed of ownership. The note read, I've transferred 20% of Vortex's shares to your name. You built something honest. You deserve to own something powerful. This is my way of saying I'm sorry, not for loving you, but for doing it the wrong way. Osazuwa. Tears blurred her vision. She didn't know whether to feel grateful or angry. But deep inside, a quiet peace settled. Months passed. Seasons changed. And one warm evening, as the sun dipped behind the roofs of Benin, she stood outside her new flagship store in GRA, the sun above gleaming in gold, Ivie House of Style. Cameras flashed, people clapped, and Kemi cheered the loudest. Somewhere in the crowd, a man stood in the distance, tall, calm, quietly watching. Their eyes met briefly. He smiled, that same soft, knowing smile from the night they met. Then he turned and disappeared into the crowd. Ivie didn't chase him this time. She didn't need to. She looked up at her store sign again and smiled. Her story hadn't ended in betrayal. It had ended in becoming. And as the lights of Benin City came alive once more, she whispered under her breath, "Thank you, for one night that changed everything." If you were Ivie, what would you do? Would you forgive Osazuwa and accept his apology, or would you walk away forever? Please like this video, drop a comment, and subscribe for more powerful African stories. Thank you.